Hey, goodness me, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hi, Zeina.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing good, mister.
I'm doing good. And
And you? Is this better?
welcome, everyone. Welcome to Zeina and Michael's Perspective.
Yeah.
So, I was just thinking about miracles and how there's a science to miracles.
Tell me.
I was a student of a course in miracles. There's 365 lessons. I don't think I've ever gotten past lesson 170 because it it's something you have to dedicate to every day. You have to commit to it. See, I like the way it starts out. The book was written by an atheist, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Basically, Jesus was whispering in her ear until she wrote down the words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so her name's Helen Schuckman, but it starts out by saying that this book is a course in miracles. It is a required course. The time that you take to finish it is all dependent on you. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've been a student of A Course in Miracles since 1994,
Wow, you
and
just
I've never
wanted.
gotten past lesson 170. Every year I'll start it again, and I get to about 170, and then
So what's keeping you? Have you tried to figure out what's keeping you at 170? What's the
no, I'm just
significance?
going to look. I'm just going to continue on this year, and I'm not going to. At 170, I'm going to break through.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm So,
You want to
anyways,
share some of what you've learned or not really?
in the course,
Yeah, something.
sure. Well, the things that we speak of, the course basically aims to remove all the blocks to love, to the presence of love, and the blocks would be everything that you are seeing through the body's eyes are the misperception of the ego. That's the 10% reality that we're exposed to. When you see with the awareness of the Christ, then you see the 100% reality, and you can't look at your brother or your sister as anything other than the Christ. You see, and then the holy instant is occurring, because what happens that if you've had any judgment towards them, but you're seeing with the eyes of the Christ, instantly you offer forgiveness, because as you give the forgiveness, right, you receive it, right. That's the only way that you can possess the forgiveness, is I feel the forgiveness is actually offering it, right? Because
Yes.
you think of the word forgiveness, it's forgiving.
Mm.
I'm going to give it to you, because that's what forgiveness, it's forgiving. So I'm going to give it to you, and that's the only way that you can actually. So that's what the course teaches. That the whole aim is to have the Holy Spirit now interpret what it is that you're witnessing, right? As opposed to you giving it a label or giving it a preconceived perception of days gone by of how you've always seen what you're looking at, right?
Mm.
And so it's to see with fresh eyes always.
Okay.
Everything in your experience is brand new right now. Your hair is different than it was a nanosecond ago.
Mm-hmm.
Your all of the molecules in the air around you have shifted. Timelines are bleeding through each other right now, and you don't know if your keys are appearing and disappearing again and reappearing someplace else in your apartment. You are actually, like you and I both, we're flicker rates moving so quickly right? That we appear solid, we feel, right?
But we.
We're flickering in and out of existence, right? And
Mm,
so again, the word nowhere, you divide it and you're now here. You
mm,
put the word together, Nowhere, right? And
mm.
you're nowhere and you're now
Now.
here. And you
Mm.
nowhere and you're now here. So you're blinking in and out, right?
Ah, I love that.
So because we're nowhere, you can say, even here, now here, just because you're a body, you can say you're now here. But remember, you're flickering in and out. So that's what sleep is. Sleep is basically you resting that avatar, right? And releasing that the soul is free to visit all of the other timelines, right? That's why your dreams seem jumbled up. You know, one minute you're with your boyfriend, next minute you're with your mom, next minute you're swimming on the beach, next minute, because all of those timelines are being visited,
Mm.
right? And they're all experienced in real time at the soul level. But to us, it seems choppy and very quick and doesn't seem to make sense. There's no segue from swimming on the beach, all of a sudden you're eating dinner with your dad. How did, with the transition, where was it, right?
Mm, mm, mm,
Yeah. So, but the thing is that at that level, to be awake at that level, you would have seen that you were swimming, right? And then you went, you dried off, you took a shower, got dressed, went, and got in the car, follow. And so it's like you're experiencing it on that level, right? Because the vibrational rate, the frequency is much higher, and here it's much slower. So that's why you can say we are condensed light, because you're seeing right now,
mm-hmm.
right? And it's not coming into your eyes as an image, it's coming as light. And then those are quanta packages of light, little quanta packets that literally are moving down nerves as electrical waves, impulses, electromagnetic signatures, right? And
Mm.
think about it, it's a constant stream that's coming in, moving down those two optic nerves that cross over in your brain, and then flip the image from left to right, and then invert it upside down. And it, those electrical impulses shine on the back of your head on a 2 centimeter square screen as an image. And you're basically a movie goer inside of that dark theater, your skull, right? Looking at an
Mm.
IMAX panorama out here. You see,
Wow. Mm.
science can explain that. They can explain the process of how light moves down the optic nerve and then shines and creates an image on the 2 centimeter square screen. But how do you get this lens effect of a 360-degree world from that?
And how do you get everyone to see it the same?
You don't. Nobody sees it the same. That's the beauty. Everybody sees it. We can
What?
collectively agree that Niagara Falls is Niagara Falls, right?
So that means we see it.
Yes, collectively. Now, little things, right? For example, little things. Um, I don't know. I don't know an example right now of a small thing, but your world maybe consists of Japanese people are very arrogant in your
Mm.
world,
Mm.
and that's you're sticking to that story. But
Mm.
in my world, I'm married to a Japanese woman.
Mm.
I have children that are half Japanese, half Italian,
Mm.
and I don't feel that they're arrogant. I live in Japan, man. So that's my world. You follow
Mm.
that there's that, and you see the world that way. So there's people that see you. You know what I'm talking about. There's people in the Middle
Yes.
East, right, that see their world consists of the man rules and the woman
Mm.
obeys. or there's cultures where it's like I can have three wives if I can support them, right? Or I can stone that woman because she committed adultery.
Mm-hmm.
That's their world. They believe that that's right, and that's their world. But you don't see that in your world, do you? You don't see a woman being stoned in your world, do you?
No.
No, because that thought process is nowhere near you. You follow how everybody sees their own world, right? It's just a
Mm-hmm.
little bit different.
So
Mine,
you're saying that if the collective of a certain culture keeps thinking of a certain thing, that certain thing will keep manifesting in that culture?
yes, yes. That's how it keeps
So
going.
if we as a collective change our thinking, we can.
Yeah, but put it this way, hon. How do you change? You don't change the collective. You
Mm.
change you. And
Yes.
then by changing you in your thoughts, right? You're seeing the collective change. And then your world becomes one where the collective around you is changing rapidly. And that's your world. In another part of the world, there may be some big tragedy. They don't see any change whatsoever. But you're not here to change the whole thing. You're here to change this world right here.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
the only one that you're interested in. That's not being
Yes.
selfish. That's being selfless because as soon as you do that, you help the whole system, the
Mm.
whole picture.
I love
It's
that. That was so clear. Thanks, Michael.
You're welcome. And it was clear to me too. I needed to hear it too. And without your ears or the audience's ears, these words would have had no place to rest.
Oh, but I heard that really well. I love that. I love that whole.
Yeah, that's my whole
It's like I know how important our thoughts are, and I know how, like right now I'm working with, I've started my program, and today, I told you I've been busy. I've had calls all day because part of my program is that I do a check-in call with everybody every week in the program, and it's about an hour call, 45 minutes an hour, and I realized that, like, we all think a very common theme that came up today
yeah.
is lack mentality
Mm,
and not worthy mentality.
yeah,
Those are
self-esteem.
two
Yeah, low
made,
self-esteem.
yeah, like a lot of like lack money
Excuse me once. I'm just
mentality.
gonna turn on this light, see if it's any better, huh?
Yeah, Baba.
Yeah, self-esteem is a big one, right? And you know, I used to say when people would start, saying, I couldn't believe that I did that, and I would say, hey, wait, whoa, 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 you forgot to beat yourself up again.
I remember you used to say that.
Yeah. So
I remember you
anyway,
used to say that.
yeah. So we all are good at beating ourselves up,
Really
right?
well.
Well, that's the ego's job.
Mm.
As the Course in Miracles describes the ego, it's vicious at best and treacherous at worst. If it's not beating you down, it's looking for someone or something to criticize out here to lift you up, right?
Mm.
And it plays the polarity game in the shadows too. And once we start speaking of the light, the ego, it wants to resist, and it may even shoot out some resistance in your mind saying, oh, that's bullshit. We don't believe that. Really? Do we believe that crap?
Mm.
Or silence, doesn't say anything, and it waits for the time where you're going to get frustrated the most to go, ha ha, I gotcha. You're right back here, aren't you? Hey, you're not compassionate at all. Fuck them.
Mm.
That's the way the ego works. If it's
Mm.
not criticizing or beating you down, it's doing it to somebody
Is
else.
there such a thing as a healthy ego?
I doubt there's a healthy ego. There's a submissive ego. It's
Okay.
not so much a healthy ego as one that is, let's put it this way, the ego is nothing more than the mind.
Mm.
Okay? So
Make
let's
it
look at it
simple.
as mind.
Mm.
Mind. Okay? So it's like this. There's a saying that says, the mind is a terrible master, but a brilliant slave.
Mm.
If you give the mind something to do, the mind will obey. The mind will focus on whatever the fuck it wants to focus on if you don't direct it.
Mm.
Hence, Zen meditation, right? Basically, you're living life as a meditation. You're washing dishes. That's what you're doing. Washing dishes, washing dishes, washing dishes, rinsing dishes, drying dishes, drying dishes, shutting water off, taking step towards fridge, saying damn to myself, I should have called Tyrone. Who's Tyrone?
I don't know who's starting. Today I really had a singing bug and I was singing some Arabic music. And sometimes when you really tune into your heart, you really sink into your heart,
Yeah.
the essence of your being, your voice just becomes so like, I mean, the
Yeah,
way I
no,
heard
I,
my
I
voice.
get it. I totally get it. You become enamored with your own voice.
Yeah.
And that's true. And I'll tell you what that is an echo of. That's an echo of the symphony that you are as a sphere of light. You're shining brilliant colors. I mean, amazing colors. Like, think of a diamond, but amplify that a million times. These brilliant colors now are exuding tones, right?
Mm,
And they're all in harmony together. This is the beauty. Out of the gajillions of endless souls that are all playing their own song, that all blends and it all sounds beautiful together.
mm,
Can you imagine an orchestra with a gajillion instruments to coordinate that?
mm,
But as souls, we are in perfect harmony. And that's how we recognize each other too. By our song, by our colors, because every soul has had experiences in which other souls haven't had experiences in, because there's myriads of universes to play in. This one happens to be a water universe, right?
mm.
And according to Urantia, a book written, oh geez, I can't even remember, but the creator of this universe, excusez-moi, je suis très désolé. Anyways, the creator of this universe would be Michael of Nebadon. That's what he's known as.
Mm,
Now, Michael of Nebadon incarnated into many worlds to teach them the balance of yin yang or creation. And he incarnated in this world many times as a kingly priest, Melchizedek. He incarnated as Elisha, Elijah's disciple. And then in the next life, Elijah incarnated as John the Baptist, and Elisha incarnated as Jesus. And so he came back, but this time he came back, right, to be the sacrifice,
mm,
right? And so a lot of people, they question the story, right? And I say this, the whole point of the story is to die to your former self and be reborn or rise from the dead into the living. When Jesus was approached by his disciples and they said, come, we have to bury your cousin. And you know what Jesus replied? I came here to tend to the living. Let the dead bury the dead.
Mm.
Once you're gone, you're gone. What's all this fucking pompous bullshit? You show up at a funeral, you haven't seen the person for 20 years, and what, you're showing everybody, hey, look, a dead buddy of mine. I don't go to funerals. I respect people while they're alive. Once they're gone, arrivederci, Roma.
You're absolutely right.
Right? I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to go show anybody. Right?
I think, funerals like to give, yeah, funerals maybe sometimes are not for the dead. It's more for the living
Of course.
to mourn or to be seen mourning. I don't know, because you can mourn in private, but
Yeah.
maybe it's for support.
You know what? I like the way the Irish, right?
Yeah,
They
they
throw a
drink.
wake. They have a party.
Yeah,
Celebrate the life.
absolutely. That's
Right? Not,
beautiful.
you know what, this is what's funny about Italian funerals. After the church, after the cemetery, they bury him, the priest says everything. That's a whole fanfare all morning. Then they're off to lunch. They go to a hall and everybody sits down and has lunch. Right? And then you maybe have the close relatives or wife or whoever, right, with the sad face, maybe not
Mm.
eating anything, and it's just a fanfare that's just unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, it's become like a cultural thing. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay. So that's the whole point of Jesus, the crucifixion and the resurrection, is he came to show that, one, he came to prove there's no such thing as death. And that's why when the Sanhedrin, when he's confronted by the Sanhedrin, and he said, and they said, you blaspheme and call yourself the Son of God. And he looked at them and he said, verily I say unto thee, you shall tear down this temple, and 3 days I shall rebuild it. And they thought he was talking about the temple that they were in, right? Said,
Mm.
what's this madman talking about? But sure enough, after that, they had him jailed, right? And when Pontius Pilate came
Mm.
out and he said to the priests, the Sanhedrin, he said, I see no fault in this man. He's an intelligent man.
Mm.
Why do you accuse him? What has he done that is so terrible? He blasphemes. He calls himself the Son of God. He is, and he is the King returned. And so they demanded that Pontius Pilate punish him. So Pontius Pilate had him whipped. Remember I told you the cat of nine tails? 9 whips with a hook on the end of it. If you ever
Mm.
see the Passion of the Christ,
Mm.
you've seen it? Holy shit. I couldn't stand through that. You say you can't stand through violence? Did you watch that?
Oh no, I was like that. No.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Mm.
And if that's the reality of what he went through, and on top of that, he had to carry his own cross,
Mm.
and he went down, it's called the Holy Road, and to Golgotha, the place of the skulls, it was called. And it said that as he carried, he fell 3 times,
Mm.
and the third time there was a black man there who helped him carry the cross. Once there, hammered into
Mm.
hammered it tied and then hammered in with nails. They stay until the person breathes their last breath, right? So Jesus It said that his legs were left unbroken, because if you're still alive by the end of the day, what they'll do is they'll break your legs and you'll die faster that way,
Mm.
but in pain, right?
Mm.
With Jesus, he breathed his last breath, and just to check if he was dead, a Roman soldier took a spike, a spear, and pierced his side. And once he did that, and blood started to come out, it's recorded that the sky went black and there was an earthquake that shook the whole region. And that's recorded in the census too, eh, hon? And anyways, Joseph of Arimathea, a very wealthy man. I told you about him. He was the Romans' tin general, in the sense that he did trade with England, tin, and he would
Yeah,
deliver.
you've told me about
Yeah, I
him.
told you. He gave up his. See, if you were wealthy back then, you would be buried in your own cave, and you'd have a stone that would be uh, carved that would roll in front of the opening, and that was that, and you were sealed in, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, he gave up his burial ground, and they took Jesus's body down. They cleaned it, put it on the slab with a robe, with a yeah, they draped his body. They cleaned it and they draped his body with this robe, the famous one cloth that has Jesus's face on it. You may have seen it,
Mm,
like a
yes.
flash, like a flash with his face and his whole body. That's been analyzed and whatever. So I'm not saying true, false, or whatever. I'm just saying there's too much that is spoken of in regards to Jesus. All right, and even books written in India, right, in regards to Jesus, that he ended up settling there with Mary Magdalene, had 5 children, lived to be 127.
Okay.
And so, anyways, like I said, there's too many stories. And even in Tibet, there's stories of this young man, 18 years old, and he was already a master. And he went to study with the lamas of Tibet. And after he was done there, he went and was initiated in the mysteries of the Egyptian pyramids. And those are 7 pyramids along the Nile, which represent the spinal column and the rising of the Kundalini energy from the root chakra to the crown, which is the Great Pyramid at the opening of the Nile into the Great Red Sea, right?
Mm.
So the thing is that to go from the root chakra pyramid to the uh, creative solar plexus up, to move from one pyramid to the next, it depended on your focus and will, because you could stay at that particular pyramid for umpteen years and not
Mm.
graduate to the next one, right? So it was dependent upon the initiate. But Jesus mastered them as soon as he would go to the pyramids, he would master them instantly. The last initiation was, this is fascinating. The the pyramid is flooded underneath and is filled with crocodiles. And there's an opening on one end and an opening on the other end. Underneath, when you dive in, it's pitch black, no light, and it's a maze, and again filled with crocodiles. So the initiate has to dive in and come out the other side.
Like
Yes.
impossible.
How? How? See, that's the ego and its perception would say impossible. A master would instantly know that a crocodile needs air to breathe. You dive in and you alter your frequency to that of a crocodile's frequency. You hitch a ride. You come out the other side. You're alive. So, again, I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm sharing the information. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. How'd we get on to Jesus topic?
We're talking about A Course in Miracles, aren't we?
Miracles, yes. That's
Yeah. Again, it's like I'm not um, saying that people should change their belief system. If you believe in Muhammad and Allah, if you believe in Krishna and Ganesha, do your thing. They're all stepping stones back to the one.
exactly. I agree.
So it's like it's pointless in us arguing about the avatars that have shown up here that were basically God incarnate. Because you and I are God incarnate, aren't we?
Yes.
You remember?
I remember.
You remember?
I do.
Sometimes I forget.
I forget too sometimes. This 3D world very tempting, many temptations. Sometimes you get stuck in the body and the experience. You think this all reality. So I understand.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When you understand, you're standing under gravity, the weight of the thought system of what you believe, right? When
Exactly.
you understand, you're standing in the truth of your awareness and your authenticity of what it is that you know is real,
I love
right?
that.
The Course in Miracles would say, nothing, only love is real. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. So you see, it's basically all love. Only love is real. Nothing real can be threatened because nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God that passeth understanding. When you recognize everything as yourself, there is no more resistance. There's just an acceptance of you.
There's a flow to life, when you don't resist. And you just, you twinkle a little bit different.
Yes, you twinkle. That's a good way of putting it. You twinkle. Yes.
Yeah.
You got a little sparkle in your eye and
You
you got a little
glow.
pep in your step, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little zip in your pip, right?
Yes. Yes, I
Everything
agree.
tastes better. Everything looks better. Everything sounds better. It's always better when we're together.
Always together when we're together.
Sing it, girl.
It's always better when we're together. That's the song. You sing it. It's Jack
Yeah.
Johnson.
Jack, baby.
Jack.
JJ.
JJ, how's JJ doing?
What's up?
What's
My
up,
brother.
my brother?
It's all good now, my brother, we out the hood now.
What hood?
We stood on the block and just shot the breeze. We slapped rocks in the middle of the street. And if a fight broke out, you would take up for me. All I have left are these ghetto memories. Yo, dog, I can't explain how I miss you. We stayed together, copping cane, popping pistols. I miss you most, putting a do-rag over your bean head. Never seen you brag, jumping up out of clean jags.
Oh,
You was the closest
jeez.
brother I had. Yo, what's the deal, my brother? I know you're holding it down. If you could see me, you would say I'm talking soft right now. But you know that you died for the love of the dough, the love of the block. 16, you was holding the spot. You know, your mama used to hate when we used to hang out on the curb like five wild brothers just smoking the herb. Word up.
Ah!
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Woo! Michael!
Even though you're gone, you will always be my brother. You be smiling down, saying, carry on, my brother. Sometimes my nights could get long, my brother. Sometimes I feel God did me wrong, my brother. So I had to write a song, my brother, just to let you know that you're still my brother.
Nice, Michael.
I like that song.
Mm, that's a good one.
It's a good song.
Yeah. Well, this was fun today. It was
It
a
was
good
a fun
it was a
chat.
good it was a good chat perspective. I think this is one of our like really calm, chill chats where it was like really clear, one point, very kind of in-depth talk about it and kind of went a little bit we stayed on the same kind of course in miracles. And we don't often do that. We often like jump
Yeah, of
around,
course.
jump, and get down.
That's right. That's right. Anyways, Angel, I was going to say, I'm
Yes.
going to look into editing and what have you, so we could put in a few fun things in between our talking.
Yeah, I mean, listen, do we stop recording now so that we can talk? Or
Yeah,
oh,
or we could, show our authentic selves to.
oh yeah. So what I was saying is like it's just we gotta share them on like a Google Drive. I know how to do that.
Okay.
So once we can share them on a Google Drive, because like you can't send these videos back and forth. They
No,
have to
no.
be in
Hang
the
on a
cloud.
sec. Hey, listen, we're gonna say goodbye to you
Okay,
all.
see?
Have a
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful moment, right? Remember to always choose love.
Always choose love. L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V
V is
is so
for the
very, very extraordinary.
extraordinary.
E
E is even for the one
that I adore and love
love.
is all I've got to give to you. Love
Love
is
is
not just a
a
silly game
game for
for two.
two. Two for love can make it break my heart, and I won't take it. Love was made for me
For
and
me
you.
and you. That's a good one.
Have a wonderful, wonderful moment, folks. All right, choose love.